Good, happy Sunday morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, man injured by hit-and-run driver, search on in Tilton. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
It was just after 5 o'clock Friday night. Suman Kaur was working here at the Travel Lodge in Tilton when a man walked into her office, bloodied and in a great deal of pain.
He was bleeding from his eye, like really bad. The blood is like pouring out, and he's like, I need help.
Police say moments before, the 55-year-old Tilton man was walking on Laconia Road when he was hit by a vehicle that did not stop.
I was like, do you want me to call 911? He's like, no, I want to call my aunt first.
So Suman did just that, then dialed 911. The victim was taken to Lakes Region General Hospital before he was med-flighted to Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center, where he is said to be in stable condition.
Sad. Very sad.
Police are now looking for a Chevy or GMC-style pickup truck with damage to its right passenger side door, possibly missing a mirror. This is not the first time employees at the hotel have had to deal with a situation like this. Suman says there is a history of accidents on this road, and she would like to see something done about it.
There should be lights on the roads. I'm from New York. There were lights all over, okay? So I'm not sure why we don't have lights. It's really dark at night when you're walking. It's very dangerous.
And if you were driving down Laconia Road around 5:15 Friday night, Tilton police say they want to hear from you. In Tilton, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. So if you were in that area on Friday night, call the Tilton Police Department. ABC News suspends Brian Ross for serious reporting error. ABC News has apologized for a serious error and suspended reporter Brian Ross for 4 weeks without pay for the network's incorrect Michael Flynn report. The network said Saturday the report had not been fully vetted before airing Friday. Ross initially reported that during the presidential campaign, then candidate Donald Trump had directed Flynn and former National Security Advisor to make contact with the Russians. Ross later clarified the report, saying his source now said that Trump had asked Flynn to contact the Russians as president-elect, not before the election, about issues including working together to fight ISIS. In a statement, they said, "We deeply regret and apologize for the serious error we made yesterday." The reporting convened by Brian Ross during the special report had not been fully vetted through our editorial standards process, the network said in a statement. As a result of our continued reporting over the next several hours, ultimately we determined the information was wrong and we corrected the mistake on air and online. Later in the evening, ABC issued a correction. The network had been criticized for issuing the clarification intent of immediately making the correction. Flynn has pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI. Trump says Flynn's actions during transition were legal. There was nothing to hide. Let's take a listen to this video from ABC News.
My sinuses. I mean, could you be any more dramatic?
I've had it. I'm taking Mucinex Sinus Max. It's got a triple action formula.
Carl? Carl!
Mucinex Sinus Max. Triple action fights pain, congestion, and pressure. Let's end this.
We begin tonight with President Trump breaking his silence on the stunning developments surrounding his former national security advisor. The president said today he is not worried about what may come next in the fallout over Michael Flynn's explosive admission. Flynn says he lied to the FBI about his contacts with Russia and that he is now cooperating with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. That investigation now threatening to close in on the West Wing, with the president's own son-in-law potentially in the crosshairs. And tonight we are learning about new emails just reported in the New York Times, what a key player in the Trump transition reportedly said about Russia. ABC's David Wright starts us off.
Today, President Trump is all business as usual. No, I'm not. Insisting he's not worried about Michael Flynn's guilty plea for lying to the FBI just 4 days into his job as National Security Advisor.
What has been shown is no collusion. No collusion. There's been absolutely no collusion.
Not long after, Trump tweeted, "I had to fire General Flynn because he lied to the Vice President and the FBI. He has pled guilty to those lies. It is a shame because his actions during the transition were lawful. There was nothing to hide." The president has never before said that he fired Flynn for lying to the FBI. Back in February, he gave this as his reason for firing Flynn.
No, he fired him because of what he said to Mike Pence. Very simple.
But if Trump knew Flynn had lied to the FBI too, it raises new questions about his subsequent statements supporting Flynn.
Mike Flynn is a fine person, and I asked for his resignation. He respectfully gave it.
At the time, President Trump seemed to have mixed feelings about getting rid of his national security advisor, so much so that he continued to praise Flynn.
General Flynn is a wonderful man. I think he's been treated very, very unfairly by the media.
Former FBI Director James Comey testified that the president personally asked him to go easy on Flynn.
I understood him to be saying that what he wanted me to do was drop any investigation connected to Flynn's account of his conversations with the Russians.
Overall, the official White House position is nothing about the guilty plea or the charge implicates anyone other than Mr. Flynn. But that's likely not how the special counsel sees it.
Generally, prosecutors do not give cooperation deals unless they expect something to result from them.
The court documents filed in connection with the guilty plea suggest Flynn did not act alone when he reached out to foreign governments. According to the documents, in one case, Flynn was directed to do so by a very senior member of the transition team. According to sources familiar with the investigation, that very senior member was Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The documents also allege Flynn spoke with another senior transition official immediately before he called the Russian ambassador to discuss sanctions imposed by President Obama and to ask that Russia not escalate the situation. Sources tell ABC News that senior official was Katie McFarland, who would go on to become the Deputy National Security Advisor. Tonight, the New York Times says it has obtained emails from the transition team about the Russia issue. In one email, McFarland reportedly theorized that Obama was trying to box Trump in diplomatically with Russia. Quote, "If there's a tit-for-tat escalation, Trump will have difficulty improving relations with Russia. which has just thrown USA election to him. Tonight, the White House tells the Times that McFarland was expressing concern about how the Democrats were likely to spin this. All this on a day the president had hoped would be a victory lap, celebrating the Senate's late passage of tax reform. Instead, this.
We'll see what happens. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
A lot of questions still. David Wright joins us now from the White House.
Okay, and there you go on that report and that video from ABC News, David Wright. And that did it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.